Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show, episode 185. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with David. What's up, David?
Hello, everyone. Hope you're well wherever you are and whenever you are.
Shane, welcome to the Everything Show. How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing, man?
What's up, Tim?
How you doing?
All right, first things first. Guardians of the Galaxy. Wow.
Fantastic. Fantastic film.
Go ahead, Shane. Just talk about it first, because I just...
Well, yeah, I'm a big comic guy, as you know, and I love the movies and everything, too, but I haven't had this much fun at a Marvel movie. I maybe the Avengers, but this still was much more fun, because you had, like, space battles, and you had... creatures you didn't really know about the background and stuff like that. Got to see the Nova Corps. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things were just amazing about it. The special effects were just top notch. The acting was good. I was worried about Chris Pratt, because I know him from Parks and Rec and some of his stand-up, and he's more comedic, but he actually pulled this off really well. He had a Han Solo vibe to him, but not in a rip-off way,
I was just amazed that the scope of the different planets and the celestial skull. You saw that? Like with inside. I blew my mind how deep they were going to go with this. Where you didn't just see Rowan the Accuser. You got to see different civilizations. Yondu was phenomenal.
You got to see the three. That was amazing.
Thanos, unbelievable. The special effects were done by Lucasfilm, LucasArts, George Lucas himself, his Skywalker Ranch. The ships were awesome. The special effects were like above average, I thought.
Yeah, it was an amazing film. It's really worth the price if you've got $10-12. Hell, go on down and see it, because it's one of those you gotta see.
And I love the 80s. So hearing the music was like awesome.
Yeah, and I was afraid they were going to cheese it up with the music, but the music was part of the tone of the film, of his backstory, which I like that. They integrated it into his, with his Awesome Mix Volume 1, and of course Volume 2 he got, but not spoiling it, but and we saw the Collector again, which was amazing.
The Liberace of space there.
That's the bit I have seen. He looks very sort of eccentric, but perhaps not so eccentric, since I'm presuming Guardians of the Galaxy is the more crazier, far out version of the Avengers, style-wise.
Stephen Price and Beefhead, what's up, gentlemen?
Good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm intrigued to know as well, though, because I haven't seen Guardians yet, but Shane said he saw the Kree in there. So do you think that could bode well for the future Inhumans film that they say they're going to do?
I believe there will be an Inhumans film. In fact, there will be 2 more Guardians of the Galaxy films. They already announced that there's another Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, the next Guardians is Wave 3 of Marvel's, or Phase 3, excuse me, and Inhumans is the last of the Phase 3. Which includes Avengers, Civil War, and a couple others.
Now, this is the question I had about that. Was that a fan's poster made up, or was that the genuine article? Because someone said that was speculation.
The only one that they speculate, all the other titles are legit. They did announce those, but the one that was speculated.
Because I thought that Avengers was the Infinity Gauntlet.
Well, yeah, so that might change. The Avengers one may have been a fan thing, but the other titles were confirmed because they were at San Diego, Now, the Hulk one wasn't confirmed that it's World War Hulk, right? Because wasn't there, didn't they discount that? Or is that just, they just did that for spoiler territory? They don't want to, really... I think it was spoiler because Mark Ruffalo himself, wouldn't discredit a future Hulk movie. When they ask him about it. So
I think that's a Hulk movie, but I don't know if it's World War Hulk, though.
No. I think it would just be a standalone Hulk movie with him. No, they won't approach World War Hulk for quite some time, especially the Hulk franchise being rebooted twice, well, 3 times in a sense.
Right.
And you haven't got Reed Richards, so you can't have that either.
Well, that's finished filming, actually. Fantastic Four has wrapped filming. And we haven't seen any pictures, anything. They haven't leaked anything at Comic-Con. Nothing about the movie. Period.
Well, they were saying that they were filming it on the hoof. It's like they were making all the decisions as they went along, which is even more disturbing.
Well, that's very disturbing.
Yeah, they were making script changes. I do know they're making script changes. I've read, what like Tim was saying, they change things on the spot, so we don't really know exactly what's going on, except that it is set in the X-Men universe.
Yes, it's 20th Century Fox has Silver Surfer, Galactus, Fantastic Four, X-Men, Deadpool, X-Force, all the mutant stuff. So if they do have an Infinity Gauntlet, they can't use anything with Galactus or Silver Surfer or any of that stuff, which is disturbing. But
well, Galactus really comes right out of the Infinity Gauntlet. It was more of a Thanos thing, so that's okay. They can work around that. But
well, Silver Surfer was a big part of the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, he was.
And I did not know this, but I think it was in the end of Dark World, the Thor. The thing that we seen in the Collector's thing was Adam Warlock in the Cocoon. That I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was like speculation. I don't know, but yeah, it could have been. Because we don't really know what all the Collector had. That's what they're kind of alluding to.
Because the Infinity Watch was Adam Warlock, Gamora, Drax the Destroyer, if you remember. And after the Infinity Gauntlet was over, they each got a gem. So I don't know where they're going with this, but now I'm not really familiar. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, I grew up on Guardians of the Galaxy with Vance Astro, Starhawk. I think it was Yondu, of course. Then it was Starhawk's wife. Who was his wife's name? I'm trying to remember. Then it was a Crystalline guy. There was Charlie 27 or something. But I don't really know anything about Star-Lord. Have you ever read any comics with Star-Lord in it?
Very, very few. Very, very few. He's not portrayed. I mean, I think now the comics are kind of portraying him like he is in the movie, but I don't think that he was like that. I don't really know. I'm not well versed in Star-Lord because he wasn't even.
Well, he was created a while ago, right? But he never went anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, he was. If I'm not mistaken, the original first appearance of Guardians of the Galaxy was a total different team. Like Rocket and all them never came until later on.
Yes, they didn't come until afterwards. You know, I mean, there was a team, and then when I got into it, was like a secondary team, I guess. Vance Astro was like sort of like a Buck Rogers type that he was from the 20th century, took off in a rocket, wound up in the 31st century? Yeah, for the Guardians of the Galaxy.
30th.
And then he was 30th century?
Yeah.
30th century, I'm sorry. And
no,
then
it's okay. I'm sure now it's the 31st because, you know, they push it up, everything. So.
Right. So it was searching for Captain America's shield, and there was a whole thing about Starhawk that every time he died, he went back in time into the womb and went back and changed the timeline or something like that. But I'm just curious who Star-Lord's father is. That's going to be interesting. But Guardians of the Galaxy, it had everything you could love. Was that? Guardians of the Galaxy had a mixture of everything. It was comedy, it was action, adventure, it was, you know, people are dying for space movies, right?
Yeah. I don't think
I haven't had any in a while that made any sense. Yeah.
It's like Doctor Who fans basically wanting to see more alien planets. Yeah, it's the same thing. There must come a point when something that's a genre that's been sort of neglected for a while will become popular.
I mean, I love Prometheus, but I didn't understand it.
Yeah, you have to watch Prometheus 2 or 3 times to get it, but
yeah.
But the thing is, and I'm going to address this to David, the thing about Marvel Cosmic Universe, and even still right now, even though there's a movie and everything, it's still not that popular. I mean, it has a niche group of people that die hard love it, but like, it's still not very, very popular. I mean, I could be told wrong, but just shopping at comic shops for years and everything like that, people don't pick up, Nova very often or things like that. It's just.
But Silver Surfer is very popular right now.
Yeah, well, that's because
Dan Slott is writing that.
Yeah, and it's actually really, really good. It's got Dan Slott writing. It's got Mike Allred's art, and it's hilarious too. I really enjoy it. But
Prometheus is pretentious, highbrow, sort of lovey-dovey, Shakespearean. This is existential type.
I can get you that out of it.
No.
And the Guardian of the Galaxy, is far more sort of Indiana Jones, sort of fun, having fun in space and adventures. Sort of like a Errol Flynn type thing. Yeah, sort of Han Solo before he started to get a little bit bored of being Han Solo. Sort of. As opposed to sort of trying to explain everything, you just go along for the ride. Whereas with Prometheus and other things like that, it's more like Inception, yes. Sort of style-wise, that's my impression at least.
Yeah, it was definitely an adventure instead of just trying to explain this or that, or rebooting like Star Trek and things like that, because that's all we've been doing.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, think about it. You got a talking raccoon who's good with a machine gun. You got a sort of tree bloke. You got a big Batista, Dave Batista. You've got.
A green lady.
Yeah.
Well, I want to get Stephen Price and Beefhead and Tim's take on all this stuff. So I'm going to start with Stephen Price. Go ahead, Stephen.
What's the running time on this movie, Joe?
I don't know, Shane. How long is it? It's like 2 hours or something.
I think it's just under 2 hours.
Yeah, it's just under. It's not very, very long.
I'm gonna go and see it probably this week, probably Friday.
Okay. We'll be glad to hear what you think of it.
Yeah.
What about you, Beef?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I mean, I never really followed any of the Guardians comics or anything like that. The only experience I had of Rocket Raccoon was where he showed up in, I think it was like one of the X-Men things with the Macron Crystal. It was the only time I ever had.
Right, when Wolverine came back to life with the right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the only time I'd ever sort of had any experience of it then. So
I
yeah,
have no
I'm
experience
planning to see it this week.
I'm sorry, Beef.
No, it's all right. Yeah, that's it.
I'm
looking forward to seeing it. Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm.
I have no experience with this group because the Guardians of the Galaxy I read. Yeah.
Yeah, I never had any experience with this storyline either. Whereas some of the other superheroes, I think, have been done to death. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm pleased that everybody likes it. That everybody says it's really, really good. Because I remember for months we've been wondering, is it going to be good, or is Marvel finally going to have a flop on their hands, or because nobody knew anything about it. So that to me that's an advantage, not knowing anything going in. I don't know what to expect. I'm not going to be disappointed. So I'm looking.
See, this wasn't my Guardian, so I didn't know Groot, I didn't know Rocket Raccoon, I didn't know Star-Lord. The only people I knew was Gamora and Drax the Destroyer from the comics, but I had no idea who any of those were, and I enjoyed it actually a lot. So, Brian.
Yellow.
Hello, Brian. Brian, did you see Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes, I did. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
Okay. Anything else? Explain it to us. What was good about it that you liked?
Pretty much everything about the movie. The storyline, the concept, the soundtrack of the music that were in the movie, pretty much everything.
Who's your favorite Guardian?
I would probably say Star-Lord and Rocket Raccoon.
Okay.
I love Groot. Groot was amazing.
Yeah.
Groot.
Especially because this isn't a spoiler because Groot's always been like this. He just says, "I am Groot." But Rocket understands what he's saying. It's like, you know, when Han talks to Chewie and he's just growling, he's like, talks back like, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah.
That was.
I like that how Thanos was in this. Because I didn't realize that Thanos was supposed to be in this. I thought he was like supposed to be like a little background thing.
I know he was in it. I knew he was in it. That's a good thing, though. Something to look forward to with the Avengers. Unless, of course, what do you think, Shane? You think they'll do something, a 360, well, 180, and you think they'll put the Infinity Gauntlet in Guardians of the Galaxy movie instead of Avengers?
I'm kind of wondering that myself. I mean, I would love for there to be a crossover, but the logistics of having all those actors from Avengers, Guardians, you know, like the salary of the movie would just be so much that it would be hard to... You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, of course, I'd love it, but I think they're going to go with Thanos and Guardians. I think they're going to kind of go that way and then go more towards the Ultron, and I really think the Civil War thing might actually happen because of the fallout of Ultron, because we do know that the plot of Avengers, I mean, not the whole plot, but that Iron Man actually creates Ultron in this universe. So
yeah, I'm not happy about that at all.
You're right. That I'm not either, but that would make sense to cause some sort of friction in the team. They did show the posters off, and they're fighting, you know, thousands of Ultrons. So
the problem I have with Civil War is it was the one storyline I felt that caused repercussions so bad that they actually had to alter the entire Marvel Universe because of it, which wasn't really done before. As much as I've heard Dan Slott say it has been, it hasn't really been done where the entire Marvel Universe timeline has been altered like a 52 DC universe. And that being one of the things that happened was Spider-Man revealed his identity to the world, and that caused the whole nonsense and craziness of every villain coming gunning for Spider-Man. And then with Civil War, when he turned against Tony Stark, they had a falling out. He didn't protect Aunt May or Mary Jane, and then Kingpin shot Aunt May. And then he had to make a deal with the devil, blah, 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 Ultron lecture. But anyway, Civil War started because they had a reality show with the New Warriors. And a whole bunch of kindergarten kids got killed because Nitro blew himself up. And then they realized that there needs to be some type of responsibility with, you know, the kids. And Tony Stark decided to take it upon himself to start that whole superhero registration act thing, blah, 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 and make everybody sign up. And then next thing you know, friends are becoming enemies. I thought that it was a massive storyline, but I really wasn't happy that it went that way in the comics.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Josh Brolin the voice of Thanos?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was.
What's that? What did you say?
Josh Brolin was the voice of Thanos.
I didn't have a problem with audio. I'm sorry. What did you say again, Brian?
I said Josh Brolin as Thanos.
He was pretty good. Yeah. He's going to be.
I loved. I also loved Karen Gillan in it as Nebula.
Yes, I did too, actually.
I'm one of the things I must say I'm most looking forward to actually is seeing Ronan the Accuser. I hope that he's given a good bit of justice in this. I mean, you don't have to give anything away, but would you say the representation of him was good?
I loved it, but Shane, what do you have to say?
He looked the part and he acted the part, and I enjoy it. I really think that I'm surprised they had access to Ronan because he's a Fantastic Four villain, but that's here nor there. But he was done well. He was done well. You wouldn't be disappointed.
Cool. Well, that's it. Yeah, because you said if you've got the Kree, then you've got to have Ronan the Accuser in there anyway, which is, and I'm surprised, like I say, that they're doing the Inhumans because that is so closely linked to the Fantastic Four as well, really.
Maybe we'll see the Watcher show up. That'd be cool, too.
I don't know, but going back on the Civil War thing, I mean, whether the outcome you liked it or not, at least it was a Marvel event that did something, because every event they've done so far has done hardly anything. It's just been an event for event's sake. I mean...
The one thing I don't understand lately is every single comic is doing time travel. And Spider-Man 2099 even said that everybody's time traveling so bad that something is going to happen with the multiverse, where that's a future storyline probably for 2015-16, something's going to rupture. They're constantly creating new timelines, or they're constantly altering things, and it's happening in every comic. I mean, in the Thor comic, you have two Lokis, one from the past and one from the future, kind of like interacting. And Thor's hanging out with young Loki, which I don't understand. And I didn't read the comics, so I don't really know what's going on, why that's the case. But then Loki from the future said that Thor is king of Asgard, and he has like 3 daughters. That's weird. So I don't know. And he's supposedly manipulating events in the present to alter the future. I don't know. I just think certain comics should stay away from time travel. And that whole Civil War thing. I mean, it's kind of, some stuff is kind of getting undone from it.
Well, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, the whole Spider-Man thing got undone.
Well,
the timeline got completely changed.
I think the time travel stuff is leading up to Spider-Verse. It's not really time travel. They're looking at more of alternate Earths. Because in Marvel, it's not really time travel a lot of times. It's like you're looking at parallel Earth. Because that's how they explain it for their continuity.
The storyline I'm talking about is beyond the Spider-Verse, actually, after Spider-Verse, because there's something that's cooking to do with that. It's not... The Spider-Verse thing is about Morlun traveling through each reality to kill anybody that's Spider-Man. And somehow that's like the old animated series Spider-Man storyline that they're rehashing into the comics. And it also proves that Spider-Man didn't kill Morlun, so he has his record where he never killed anyone, which is good. But there is a storyline that's coming with the Avengers and
actually Morlun died twice. He just come back to life.
Yes. But the event, the Red Skull is supposed to get the powers of Onslaught and an Axis storyline, and I think he has something to do with Steve Rogers aging. But there's going to be something cooked up next year to do with time travel. And there also, before that happens, there's going to be another Infinity Gauntlet sequel. Infinity, what the hell is it called? Revelation or something? Jim Starlin's back doing it, which I gotta pick up when it comes out. But yeah, they have been building in each of the books about time travel with something else, not Spider-Verse, but the whole Marvel universe as a whole connected with it. But I just hope I don't want to see Civil War right now in the Avengers, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that movie's years away, so it's not a big deal, So.
Yeah. It's like when they threw Venom into Spider-Man. It's like we weren't ready for that. I would have wanted to see all the other villains first before Venom popped in and made Spider-Man 3, which I thought was a rush job. I didn't think they should have did that.
Yeah, it's kind of like they knew that was their last one, so they wanted to include everyone that they could use.
But the thing was, it wasn't the last one though. That was the kicker, because I think there's footage that was shot with John Malkovich as the Vulture, and it got scrapped. Spider-Man 4. So, what's up, Chris?
Hey, what's going on?
We're just talking about Marvel stuff.
Oh yeah, I saw Guardians on Thursday.
And?
Awesome.
I thought it was pretty
spoilers. Good. Okay.
No, I thought it was pretty good. My favorite Marvel movie that I've seen recently though is still Captain America 2, but this was pretty good. I gave this like an 8 or a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Me as well.
All right. Does anybody read the comics lately in Marvel? What's going on?
Nope.
I haven't read the last month or two. I need to catch up on those.
Tim, Stephen Price, David.
No, I've read. I did. Well, if you let me finish, I did read some of the storyline before Spider-Man got his body back. When Dr. Octopus was occupying it. All that business. So I did read it for a while because I was sort of buying all the Avenger, British version at least, the small ones. And I thought they were rather good. They were illustrations. They were adult, very artistic, depending on who does them. Google Plus is really fucking up now. I'm starting to get on my nerves.
Oh, there goes the rating. All right. The one storyline that's pissing me off is the Wolverine. I don't know about you, B-Fit. Did you hear what's going on with that?
Isn't it 3 months to die or something, or 3 ways to die? And they've had I saw the countdown covers and everything like that. I know that they're killing him off, and I haven't been following the story.
They're going to kill him off,
crap.
And they're going to restart the Weapon X program so they could have like 5 Wolverines. That's not Wolverine. And it's like, come on, man. Really? They've done this before. I wish Mr. Marvel was here so we could go over like when they've done this. They've done this before.
They've done it before, Joe. Sorry for interrupting. They've come up with a bad idea before, and now they're doing it.
Yeah. They're also doing the same idea with the Hulk. They say it's a new incarnation of the Hulk, a smart Hulk. They've done that before with the Pantheon and the Hulk. I don't know why they're making it like they've never done that idea before.
Wasn't the leader kind of like that?
Well,
no, but what I'm saying is,
related,
but what I'm saying is there was a smart Hulk before that was the leader of the Pantheon.
Yeah.
You had the Grey Hulk, didn't you? Yeah.
Well, no, the Grey Hulk was Mr. Fix, and then the Green Hulk, he was green. He had glasses sometimes. He was working with the Pantheon, which was like S.H.I.E.L.D., but a different organization. Now they're saying, oh, he has a new personality. He's Dr. Green or something stupid, like he's a smart Hulk. Okay, they've done that before. They did the girl Thor.
Agents of Smash cartoon thing, where you got an entire team of Hulks with She-Hulk and that blue bloke and the grey one, and they're all sort of chummy. But the problem is, a smart Hulk, isn't that really just like Beast from the Avengers?
Yeah.
Not the Avengers.
Well, you've had smart Hulk. Yeah, throughout the run, you've had a Hulk of many colours, like bloody Wizard of Oz. It's that's rehashing, really.
He's going to go after all the Hulks. It's going to call something. I don't know. It's just a whole bunch of. They're doing this crazy story they did already. It's just okay. I don't know. And Spider-Man, I'm happy about Spider-Man. With the Moreland thing, I can't wait to see that. And I'm very happy about the new character, Silk, who was the second person that bit by the spider, female. And she has her own costume. She's going to be having her own limited series with Spider-Woman. They're really building her up. Saying, Madam Web had said that if Spider-Man died, she would be Spider-Man and stuff like that. So there's a lot of crazy things with Spider-Man that's going on, which I'm very interested in. But all the other comics are like.
What about the Silver Surfer though? Obviously the new Silver Surfer ones that you've been following.
I'm liking it. I have no complaints. Actually, it's better than it's been in a long time. Dan Slott made it for all audiences to enjoy as a family. He doesn't have anything that's inappropriate. It's really a fun ride, and he's doing it like it's Doctor Who, because he's a Whovian as well. So the Silver Surfer has a companion, and he's getting to see the universe part that was blocked from him that he's never seen before, and new characters and stuff like that. So there's big entities that are introduced that you didn't know existed in the Marvel universe. So that's interesting. So
that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
It ain't Ghost Driver. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve. Shane, you saw that?
No, I didn't.
Ghost Rider is now driving a car, so he's technically Ghost Driver, but they call him Ghost Rider. And it was so bad, the comic, that I wanted it out of my house after I bought it. I begged the kids to take it out.
Unclean.
And whatever they wanted to do with it, I really didn't care.
They gave it to you. They gave it to you in a comic book store in a brown paper bag. It was that bad.
I mean, I paid for that. It was like $4. I mean, like something like that. It's like you couldn't even donate it because it's so bad. So, it was like the Love and Monsters of Ghost Rider. It was just, oh my God.
Your favorite episode of Doctor Who.
I mean, Midnight Suns was a great storyline with Ghost Rider and stuff like that. But after a while, they ruined Ghost Rider, make it like Danny Ketch was the brother of Johnny Blair. Hello. You know, it's just, why do they have to ruin things? But now we got this whole other Robert Reyes, this Ghost Rider, and he drives a car, and it's whatever.
He's got a kabuki mask, yeah.
But they make him like Speed Racer, but it's like what? It's like, okay, I'm not really feeling it. So the Marvel Comics is in dire straits. Let's put it that way with the comics.
What's amazing is their movies are doing so well, though. I mean, but yeah, their comics are falling apart, right?
As far as I'm concerned,
they're not consistent. They just keep changing too much, too quick.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just, and people bitch about DC changing continuity. Well, that was 3 years ago, but they've been consistent since then. So I mean,
losing Peter Parker was a lot for me to deal with. Okay, I was angry. I was so pissed that Dan Slott actually commented on my channel about it, and it got his attention, and I gave him a chance, and I read Superior, and I loved it, and thank God he turned it back. But to throw and force upon us that you're changing every member of the Avengers completely at the same time, and you're killing Wolverine, and you're changing the whole Marvel Universe is completely changing at the same time. It's very hard to deal with right now.
That sounds like a little much to handle.
I wasn't happy that Cyclops killed Professor X. In fact, I still can't accept that. Okay? Then I had to deal with Wolverine being the leader of the Jean Grey School for Gifted Youngsters, and they tried to make it like Magneto and Professor X, but with Wolverine and Cyclops, which was bullshit. But now, and I never believed that, but now, and then you had the Beast go back in time and take Jean Grey of the past with all of them, bring them to the future. That was crazy. But now, Wolverine dying, replaced by like 5 new Wolverines with weird claws and stupid things. I don't care about that. A different Hulk, we've seen that already. A female Thor, that's ridiculous. And the only thing I can think of why he loses the hammer is because he's so pissed at his father from keeping his sister from him that he punches him in the mouth and then boom, becomes unworthy. I mean, other than that, he still has his powers, but with an axe, which is stupid, and he's still called Thor. So what the hell is that? And then this woman is just going to be Thor, which is, look, yes, we need female characters, but create new female characters. Like, really? I mean, or build up the female characters you have.
You don't actually need more female characters.
You do, actually. I think you do. Why? You know what? All these characters from like the 50s, 60s, 70s, what did they create new recently? Why did they stop creating? Who's not creating characters that are interesting enough to have their own books to be popular? They just stopped creating. They're making money off stuff they created back then, but they're not creating anything new. The only thing that was new that they created that stood for a while was Venom, but then they ruined that with Spider-Man and all that, or Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. But like, there's no character now that's created really that has their own book that just stuck and is new and it's popular, except for I guess Ms. Marvel now. They put her back into control. You know, Captain Marvel, whatever.
It's a little bit stupid. When I've sort of debated people politely about it, I've pointed out, the simple fact.
I can imagine you debating politely, yeah.
It's a cynical PR stunt. It's not original. It's been done before, and they claim it's been progressive in comics. Well, how's it progressive if you're just taking a character that already exists and essentially rehashing something which they've tried already before? Yeah, why not? I have said plenty of times. Why not create a female character, completely new, up to date, 2014, real everyday person, like Peter Parker was in the 60s, who becomes, a superhero. Go back to basics. The only difference is create an everyday person from 2014, geek involved. You know what I mean? That's original. But original in the sense that you might be. There's nothing original about taking Thor and then creating a female Thor, and that's all from Norse mythology. So there's plenty of other warriors in that mythology that they could have made the new sort of hero. Now, it could have been anyone. It could have been out of the darkness comes a new female champion. The same lineage, different branch of the family. Yeah? The mighty whatever her name is. She has a sort of a space, a mythically enhanced sword, something like that.
I was wrong. I was wrong about there was characters like Cable, Bishop, and Deadpool. Deadpool and Cable were created by Rob Liefeld, but that was of the most recent, really. That's stuff. That's But now that Mark Gruenwald, God rest his soul, had brought Hawkeye and Mockingbird together and did that whole storyline, if you remember, where Hawkeye became like partly deaf and stuff like that, and she had to buy him a hearing aid and everything. Why are you redoing the storyline now where he's deaf? Like, why are you stealing from somebody else that did that already? And in the comic, how are you going to make it interesting where he's trying to do sign language in the comic? Like, I know you're trying to be politically correct, but give me a break. Do you people want to see them do sign language in the comic? Is that going to be interesting?
Well, it might be.
What are you doing, Marvel? What are you doing? He was deaf already, like, once. Like, why can't they do something new?
Perhaps he could be deaf and blind, so he can't see himself sign language.
When I saw the preview of Captain America fighting Cable with a gun, I'm like, what the hell is this? Captain America doesn't use a gun now. He has a shield. He doesn't need it. They did that before they started the Avengers vs. X-Men thing. These people are writing the books. They don't know what they're writing. They used to be a Bible where they used to say, okay, with Spider-Man, okay, he can't be selfish, he can't be this, he can't be that. And the same thing with Captain America. You can't do this, you can't do that. That's out the window now. That's out the window. They burned the book for every character, and they're doing so many crazy things. I can't even believe half the stuff they do.
Well, that all started in 2000 when Joe Quesada took over.
Yeah, exactly. Goodbye. Get rid of him.
Yeah, that's when it started downhill. I mean, there's been good stuff since then, but it's been here or there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't really read hardly anything that Brian Bendis writes, except for I do like All New X-Men just because I like the original team. Right. But Amazing X-Men's been really good, and of course now Nightcrawler's back because no one stays dead.
Right.
It's I don't know. It's hard to do. Like Man, I don't know. Like I loved Iron Man when Matt Fraction wrote him, and then they changed him all up, and now he's going to be Superior Iron Man because apparently they're changing up everybody in the Avengers, like he said, and it's like.
I just have to say about the Superior thing. Dan Slott created that whole concept with Superior, okay, with Doc Ock, all right? Why are you biting off of Dan Slott? Can't you do a different name that you got to, like, bite off Dan Slott? And it's not going to be Superior. It's still Tony Stark, and he's got a different armor that's completely different than he ever had before. And he's moved to San Francisco. Who the frig cares? He looks like... Remember when they changed the Vision? John Byrne changed the Vision? I flipped out. When they made him look like Data from Next Generation, he's like all white and like weird. It's like, come on. Now Iron Man's all white. Why? Why is he going to look stupid like that for?
I hate Data.
You know, Iron Man used to have at least the gold and the red. Then they changed it with the gold and... We're freaking Iron Man apart now.
That just seemed a bit odd. Oh, you know what Iron Man is, Joe? It's like when they relocate a sitcom from thinking it's going to get more viewers in. You know? So, out of the blue, the characters miraculously, the next season just happened to be in, Los Angeles or somewhere, and they conveniently have a family member who they've gone down to. It's like in Happy Days or something like that, when suddenly they had a little brat running around who just happened to be a long-lost... I don't mind female form, but some of the other things you described, like Iron Man movie, is a bit odd. It's almost like that...
I think Tim's...
characters just to simply get attention. It's not even anything artistical or original, Tim. It's like just for the hell of it. There's no even any sort of chance of boosting sales or we're going to do this because this is original. Shocking for pissing people off that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I think going back to what Tim said quite a while ago, it's a case of they've got 75 years worth of source material that they seem to be throwing more energy towards the film. So they've got everything on the background to do with it and everything like that, and they worry how the comic books are going to go. And rather than sticking with the formula that has been tried and tested and worked for many years, they're just going to try and do not innovation, but sensationalizing, changing things, and just trying to find something that's going to work.
Reach younger audiences.
Something that's going to work, and if they find something that's going to work, then you'll probably find that other books are going to try and follow suit and everything like that. But most, how many kids now really going to comic book stores? And the only time you'll find kids probably going to comic book stores is when they're taken by their parents, and the people who are going to be disenfranchised are the guys like us who follow them for years, and then they're going to sell mags regardlessly because you've got the bagged and boarded crowd, and it's a case of just, well, we've got 75 years worth of source material, let's just chuck it all into the movies now. Because that's just instant gratification. That's Avengers. You just go say, oh, it's an instant $1 billion, an instant $1 billion movie. Right, okay. Year's time. Right, let's chuck out. 18 months time, we'll chuck out another one. That's another $1 billion. Thank you very much. How much is it going to take for us to make $1 billion out of one book? A long time.
What's the purpose of making Iron Man adopted? How is that a story, and who gives a crap? Like, how would that make sense? He looks exactly like his father and he's adopted. That's retarded. Why would you do that, first of all? Why would they do that, he's smart like his father, it's like in the genes, he looks like his father, and then he's a completely adopted. What is the purpose? And then the real Tony, well, not the real Tony Stark, the real son is like a genetically engineered or whatever alien. Why would you do that?
Because it's lost.
What do you want? Different emotions out of Tony Stark?
It's lost its worth. it's lost its value to them. That's
it sounds like they're trying to do something, crazy to draw people in to say, hey, I want to read that because that sounds interesting, when really it's a bad idea, and they're just going to lose people doing that.
That's what I was saying before. All these things like feet or moving Iron Man to wherever the hell he's going. It's just trying.
San Francisco.
When they turned Peter Parker, where he had a new arm, was ridiculous.
Doing all this.
He's going to get a rainbow suit.
They're just changing all the the Avengers and whatnot, like Joe said, just for the sake of it, not because there's any creative merit to it or anything else, just because they can, and because basically they probably think that older fans and even younger fans, and I don't think this is true with younger fans, I bet they do care about comics as well, some of them, and they just don't think the fans they think the viewers is like TV viewers. Some people think TV viewers don't have a memory longer than a few minutes, so they think, well, we'll just do any old shit and they won't notice.
Maybe they're just trying to be inclusive.
Maybe.
Sorry, I'm just saying. Like maybe, how none of us know what it's like to be an adopted child. I mean, it's got to be some kind of different way of looking at things. So maybe they're just trying to be inclusive. Say, hey, look, Iron Man was adopted, so you're cool.
I think they did that because the Iron Man 2020, that whole storyline that they built up years ago, Orange Stark, and like, who the hell is he? I think they were trying to do something like that, getting ready for 2020, like to build up who this guy is that's a Stark. You know what I'm saying? But that, it could have been different. It didn't have to be that Tony Stark's friggin' adopted or whatever. It could have been Howard Stark had another kid or something, but that's stupid. I would have believed that. I mean, the father's like a playboy, like the father with like the son, and he probably has kids everywhere. So it's like, that's.
I want to point out the Iron Man of 2020 is a different Earth because Marvel doesn't have their actual future. They don't really tell. Like when someone comes from the future, a lot of times they place it on a different Earth because future's unwritten and you never know what they'll do. Like future Avengers or X-Men came back and all new X-Men to, kill them. So, so it was like, but they're actually from a different Earth. They do it all the time. Like Old Man Logan doesn't take really place in 616 future.
Here's a question.
They are bringing on Stark into this universe, the main Marvel universe. They're doing that.
Oh, and they might. It's just I'm saying that, don't take anything they've ever done and said, oh, from the future, and then because, prime examples in Fantastic Four and Mark Millar's, I think it was Mark Millar's run, or maybe it was Jonathan Hickman's, where he hangs out with a bunch of Reed Richards, and some are from the quote-unquote future, which are just different Earths. And he's, in a big think tank with himself.
Yeah, they've got the big palace, haven't they, through the wormhole type generator thing, yeah.
Yep. So, because Spider-Man 2099 is not set in 616. He's a different reality, actually.
Yeah. Yes, and then we found out that Alchemax was created by Norman Osborn in this universe. And he just got plastic surgery, and now he no longer looks like Norman Osborn. And then something happened at the end of that comic, and now he's no longer insane. So... but now Spider-Man 2009 is stuck in our universe, so.
Well, the way I've always looked at it, comics since the beginning are just all parallel universes. So if you want to sort of get your head around all the changes, you should just see the entire history of the comics and all the comic lines that they have now. All the different versions, like Superior or Wimpy Spider-Man or whatever, always different realities. So don't fix yourself on continuity. And my question is, since you mentioned that the Future 4 has 3 daughters or something like that, does that mean that the female 4 we have now would be one of his future daughters?
I have no idea. I don't know what's going to happen with that.
It's not going to be Thor Odin's son. It's going to be Thor Odin's daughter. Yeah.
I don't even know, dude. I'm so.
I think it's somebody random. I don't think it has anything to do. That's just my speculation. Somebody random has.
Right away, I thought it was Angela, and then we saw the picture with Angela with the new Thor, and then I thought of Jane Foster. It could be somebody completely different. I don't know.
Yeah, but
it's not going to stick. That's the whole point.
Yeah, but at Marvel, they assign everything. I mean, a friend of mine works for Marvel, and he does. I'm not going to name drop just because I don't. Not that's right. But he works on the handbooks, and they do everything has a continuity. Everything has an Earth number. They have probably like the biggest catalog of a multiverse I've ever seen, and it's confusing, and it just doesn't make any sense. But it does make sense. It just if Spider-Man spits one way and then spits another, there's two different Earths.
But the one time the Marvel Universe was changed was with the Mephisto deal. The actual Marvel Universe was altered because he never married Mary Jane in 1987. That was the only record that the Marvel Universe actually changed.
But see, they actually, how he explained it to me, because I was like, hey, that's a reboot, and he's like, no, the magic that Mephisto did just dampers the memories of him revealing his identity or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's like a spell.
Well, if you read the book, right?
Yeah.
Peter Parker wants Mary Jane to remember, and she doesn't. And they go in this thing, and then when they're in that point in the past, she's like, now I have to relive my life over again for all these years and not be with you. That's like the biggest hell. So then you see, oh my God, it's like, what the hell? It's supposed to be that everything's happened the same, right? With the exception that they weren't married. But then it wasn't the case because that other book that came out was just absurd. So I don't even know. I mean, it's just, I said I was going to drop it. Dan Slott, he said, oh, why don't you drop I'm going to drop it. Hopefully one day it's fixed the right way. But
there are other characters though that say things about Spider-Man's identity that does support what.
The only reason they did that is they thought it was too old.
There's something they're trying to remember, and it's just for some reason out of their grasp. So,
yeah, because they're like, they don't remember who Spider-Man was. They knew he unmasked it, but when they try to place the face, they're like, I don't know who that is. Because Mephisto can't change reality. He can just.
Perception.
Perception. Because
the time gem is missing.
Well, Mephisto doesn't have that.
Well, that's what I asked. Who has a time gem right now? Because he never had that power before. He was never that powerful.
Howard the Duck has it.
Mephisto was never that powerful to change an entire.
I'm gonna change the whole university full of hot babes.
I think he's got the time gem, but. Don't forget, he tried to get the Infinity Gauntlet and all that stuff, so, I don't know. We'll find out.
I've actually read somewhere that there was...
I think all the gems were destroyed except for one.
I read somewhere there was a reality where Peter Parker, instead of becoming Spider-Man, he sort of slips up or something like that. Instead of getting bitten, he goes to the same fair that... he's supposed to get bitten, to become radioactive or whatever, depending on which version you have. And instead, he doesn't go or something like that, and he basically ends up as just simply like a sort of fat, overweight computer.
I'm sure there's a reality with that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's still living in his Aunt May's in the shower, saying, I could have done so much more with my life.
All right, guys. I want to close this out because it's getting late. Any final thoughts, Brian? I saw your finger up.
No, not really.
Oh, I thought you wanted to. Oh, David.
No, I was just going to ask.
Shut up, Brian.
Okay, go ahead, Dave.
I just think that ideas, even if they are controversial or upset, should be original, and that we have some purpose. This female form might be I suppose, simple fact is, if it ain't broken, it doesn't need fixing. And like I said before, instead of rehashing and pretending it's progressive, create a new character that's like Peter Parker or the Iron Man when that was completely fresh, or when Batman was completely fresh. That's what you should be doing, not sort of relying heavily on the past, because people get bored of that. Which is WWE's problem right now. You don't have any stars, if you see what I mean. Yeah, well, right, you can say what you want to now.
Okay.
I can't hear you, David. Like, I keep getting zapped out. I'm like hearing. It's weird. From my end, sometimes when Google acts up, I hear if it was your mic, David, or if it's just Google in general.
Oh, well.
I'm sorry. Finish, Dave. No?
You're ready for the lesson.
Final thoughts?
No, not. I'm good.
Fuck Google.
Tim?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay. My final thoughts. Right, okay. What I'd say is, you did say a little bit earlier, let's have some new characters and everything like that. We need new characters, we need new female characters. No, you don't. Sort out, don't say we need new characters and then say, you're messing with all the characters that we've got. Right. Just get the stable that you've got, get it in order. Get it all set out, then everyone's happy. They have adapted. They've changed the characters over the year. You can't have them permanently stuck in the 50s, 60s where they were. They were done there, but they have been brought along with the times as has developed, and they do remain current. I think what you need to do is just get them back to the core of what they were originally, get them into the modern setting. Then, if you feel that there's something lacking, something missing, then look to add it. Don't necessarily dick with what you've got. Don't screw the pooch and everything like that.
My point was with that was that females are complaining lately there's not enough female superheroes.
I don't necessarily think that I don't think that is the issue. I just don't think that they've necessarily given the limelight enough to the characters that they have got. And like we've said before on previous podcasts and when we've had previous discussions about this, that some of the most powerful, some of the most influential characters in the Marvel Universe are women, but they don't necessarily have the credence and exposure to the wider audience.
Well, the X-Men self-title has all female.
That would silence the cricket, that would silence the critics.
I know.
Most female characters don't have the star power, if you like, as other characters, like Iron Man, Batman. They're guaranteed a character like Scarlet Witch or...
Your showboats are your Superman, your Batman, your Spider-Man, your Wolverine. If you're looking at standalone solo people, but you've got ones who are like members of a team, but generally they're the biggest on the team. You've got ones like Miss Marvel. You've got ones like Sue Storm. So if you look at Madam Hydra, Spider-Woman herself as well, they play huge parts in huge stories. I mean, Spider-Woman's part that she plays in Secret Invasion is a huge thing, to be honest with you. So it's just the thing is, I think to answer the critics, they need to say, well, look at the wider thing. Look at these, look at that. You're not actually getting a bum deal. They need to stand on the quality of their product, but they're just having a knee-jerk reaction to it. That's my take, anyway.
Use the characters you have.
Exactly.
Right?
Get your house in order. You don't need new things, and if you get criticism, back yourself up with what you've got. Don't do a knee-jerk thing and go, oh shit, we'll suddenly put we'll put boobs and a skirt on something that we've already got.
See, my thing is beef. There's too much change going on right now. everything
exactly.
at the same time.
Get your house in order.
Marvel's not in order right now. It's out of order.
Exactly. And the thing is, get it straight. You 74 years, 75 years. You've had it straight. You've had it running good. And that's why the source material that you've gone on to produce the films with these characters that you had in the comics book has been so successful. You've got the great archetypes.
Right. So, by doing this,
don't dick it.
By doing this at the same time, like, okay, if the storyline didn't work with Thor and you just did Thor, right? You see the sales, you say, oh, people like it, people don't like it, or whatever, right? Why, as a company, like you have stockholders, you have this, right? Why would you change every freaking book at the same time? And what if everybody don't like anything? Then stock is in the toilet. Marvel Comics is like crap. You need to ease people in.
Hold on, though. They have yet to have a bomb movie. I mean,
no, but that's different. That's different.
When did Phase 1 start?
No. But the point
I
think the point Tim's making, and I think the point I'm making is right. You get a kid, you send them to go, you take them to go and see Avengers, you take them to go and see Iron Man, you take them to go and see Captain America. They go, oh, I love it. You take them to the comic book store, they want to go buy a comic book, and they want to see what they've seen in the movie on that. Hang on a second, I just watched Avengers, I just watched Thor 2. This ain't the same dude, this is a chick. What?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's not going to really ruin the stock. It's Disney that owns it, so I mean, and they don't care about the comic line too.
They don't.
Exactly.
They don't
the film is the instant gratification.
Yeah, and the comic industry is not anywhere where it was 20 years ago, so they're not really caring.
But see, that's my point. If it's not anywhere near it was, why make it worse? You're basically putting the nail on the coffin.
No, they're trying to make sales is what they're trying to do by making hype, making news. That's
sensational knee-jerks. Yeah.
Sensational knee-jerk. And Marvel is number one at it. They do it all. They've done it for the past 14 years. They've done it since, like I said, Quesada took over. I mean, and everybody gives flack about DC rebooting, but the thing is, and this is what happened.
I think on paper, DC are outselling Marvel at the moment.
Yes, Batman's the number one selling comic and has been for I think 6 months. But what's going on with that is that why DC is successful, and I don't think they have as many number of the top 10, but they have 4 of the top 10 right now. Batman hasn't moved, but last reboot was when I was born, and that was 29 years ago. 29, yeah.
Shit, make me feel old. Thanks.
No problem. But you have to think about it. A reboot makes sense. We cannot keep a sliding time scale and keep things fresh. That's where Marvel's going to hit ahead. They're eventually going to have to reboot because you have the same Spider-Man who's had the same story since '63. I mean, there's going to be a point where, that's why they're running out of stuff. They're going to make Thor Woman again, but it's in mainstream. They're going to make, Falcon, Captain America. That's why they're doing all this, because they're running out of crap. I mean, if they were to actually reboot their characters, and they didn't have to change anything, they could just make the same 60s characters, but in today times, not change things like they did with the Ultimates. That's stupid. Ultimate line. I'm saying,
I agree with that, too.
In 25 years, when they reach 100 years, it's going to be so convoluted, because that's the thing with Marvel Comics. I can't recommend them to anybody, because it's like, well, yeah, it may be a new number 1, but you're not going to know what the hell's going on. But yet I can say, oh, look, DC, I know that they've just rebooted again. You don't really have to have a backlog of information when they did it in 2011, because, a lot of things started fresh. So it was, it's more accessible, and that's what Tim said. They're selling well because of, people can go watch a movie and then go pick up a comic and not be as confused.
I'm gonna see if I can get Dan Slott on a future Everything show, maybe to talk about it from the Marvel perspective. I don't know if he'll come on, but we are going to continue this during the week. I think I want to try to get Mr. Marvel a part of that of this podcast, and we could probably go over comic sales and what's the top 20, of comics, and more on the Star Wars comics returning on the Marvel, which is another thing that I can't talk about it right now, but we can talk about it during the week. All right, guys. Thank you very much for appearing, everybody. Shane, welcome to the Everything Show.
Yep, thanks.
All right, and we'll probably do Real Hooligans tomorrow night, guys. Everything will be back to format tomorrow. All right, so take care. Bye for now.